Okay, right. So let's start off with how many instruments you play.
How many instruments I play? I would say I'm a drummer first, but I've played keyboard since I was seven or eight. Played in bands with both. I play a bit of guitar and a bit of bass, just enough to get by. But I would say two instruments, but one mostly drums. I think it's important that sound engineers all have some sort of background in music, because if you're dealing with musicians all the time, you need to be able to speak their language. You don't use proper words. You use weird, more colour or more. I want it dirtier sounding. I want it cleaner sounding. All these weird words, but musicians know what all this stuff means, and you've got to be able to speak in this weird language, this weird made-up language that musicians love to speak. It must be baffling to outsiders.
Yeah.
Total creative space, so
Yeah.
you can create anything you want here. Like, you're not here necessarily for the sound of the room for a particular sound. You're here for Gav's production techniques, Gav's skills behind the desk. Gav's also innovation when it comes to the production of a track. He's really good at kind of very quickly sussing out what the artist wants and then giving you, here's option A, option B and option C, pick one. So it's limiting options from the millions of options Gav has through the technology, so it's great.
If a band has never been in the studio before, first thing I would do is get them in, get them set up, break the ice, get the coffee on the go. If they've never been in before, they'll be nervous. I've had some really nervous folk coming in. Some of them don't even get out of the car. It's just setting up an environment where they can just sit and do their thing, especially for first-timers. The most important part is getting them comfortable with the room. You're just coming in, playing your tunes and having a bit of fun. If they're quite experienced, I think the most important thing I can do is make the session go as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
I've been in a good few studios over the years, just depends on, it's sometimes it's session work, just working with folk. I've worked with folk down in London, I've done some recordings over in France, places like that. So I've floated about a few studios, but this one's perfect. It's a good location from the city. Gav's equipment's good. To be honest, it's not all just about the equipment, though. It's, Gav's a good pilot. He knows what he's doing with the stuff as well, which is important. He knows when to tell me to shut up as well. So. Well, we haven't had to do that for a while, have we?
No.
So, but the 90s young.
I've had some artists that they're just incredible. Their speed, they're just like take, done, another take, go, another take. It's just you're constantly on the go. Start, stop, and it's you've got to be on the ball with it. You can't be hanging around. But when the full band's in and it's a band that's done this for many years, and I think the most important thing again is just making sure that they get the sound they want, the sound they expect, the sound they get on stage, the sound they get in their rehearsal studio. They want that in their headphones. They want it to sound exactly the same because that's how they've practiced it, that's how they've rehearsed it. I've got to deliver that to them whilst we're recording so that there's no surprises and everything's just all cohesive, everything's all working well so that the actual recording's going to be a good one, because they're not going to come up with something good if they're not happy and they're not comfortable. If a band has never been in the studio before, I would say if they come here, I can guarantee it's not going to be a stressy environment. It's laid back. Whatever sounds good. There's no rules really. It's just whatever sounds good.
So what he's done is he's tuned his bass down.
Mm-hmm.
He's tuned his bass down, and it gives it a really thumpy low end feel. Chris is doing this really funky thing on the top, and I'm keeping a straight groove at the top, and it really just fits in hand in glove. It's getting there. We're getting there.
I've been doing this for getting on 10 years. It's not a job for me. It's something that I really enjoy doing. It's a passion project, and it just happens. I happen to get paid for it. It's like I get to sit and listen to bands and music and chat and drink coffee and mix music and somehow manage to persuade people to pay me. You've just ruined my video. It's now been copyright struck off of YouTube. Yeah, yeah.
Interstate's music's a bit of a journey because there's no set vibe, or there's no set genre to the style. So therefore, for us, it was like the music when you listen to it is a journey because it goes from different styles to different genres, almost like you're going from state to state kind of thing. Basically dug up from the dead what is it, 6-year-old song that we haven't played basically since we wrote it in 2016, and we've somehow, and you know, my biggest concern was that was us in 2016, whereas obviously we're now in 2022 and we're much different people, different musicians, and we had to do a bit of jigging around just to see if it was going to work still with how we sound now as players. But we've kind of changed bits and pieces, but it's still the same. It's still the same skeleton of the song, but we've kind of brought it into where we are now, which is, I think it sounds great. That sounds a bit mega.